technical session on FSSAI packaging and DPR outlooks and experience sharing, which is the technical session 2. For FSSAI licensing and registration for garlic microprocessing unit, for this session we have with us Dr. R. Vidyalakshmi ma'am, Professor and Head, Department of Food Safety and Quality Testing, Nittan Thanjavur. Madam received an MSc in Agricultural Microbiology from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, Coimbatore, and PhD in Biotechnology from Sastra, Thanjavur. Ma'am is an active member of the Center of Excellence on Grain Sciences, contributing to grain research and its quality analysis. Madam is a life member of the Association of Microbiologists of India. Ma'am is an expert in microbial safety and quality testing of foods. She has published numerous research papers in peer-reviewed national and international journals. Ma'am is also a reviewer for reputed journals in food microbiology and food processing. The key areas of work include probiotics, microbial secondary metabolites, and food fermentation. We welcome you to this webinar, ma'am.
So, very good afternoon to all of you who are presently attending this webinar on garlic processing and its value addition. So this session will be on the FSSAI licensing and registration requirements to start a processing unit. So as the previous presenter was mentioning in her presentation about the requirements for marketing of the commodity. So in one of that, she has also mentioned the FSSAI requirement actually. So this session will give you an eye-opening on what are all the requirements required from the regulatory body to obtain a registration or a license to carry out, to domesticate or to marketize your value-added product. So as you all are aware, like Food Safety Standards Authority of India is the Indian organization which is governing the regulatory aspects of food in our country. So to have an introduction of what this FSSAI is, the Food Safety Standards Authority of India are, they are coming under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and this FSSAI is a statutory body established under the Food Safety Standards Act of 2006. So this act is the primary law for regulation of food products, and not only that, they are also governing the formulation, and they are the enforcing agency for assuring the quality and safety standards in India. They are also responsible for protecting and promoting the public health through regulation and through surveillance of food safety. So this has been enacted as per sections of 31(1) and 2 of the FSSAI Act, and it is a mandatory requirement for every food business operator in the country to acquire a license or a registration under FSSAI for them to pursue their business in food. So let me tell you like what are all the requirements for a registration or a license. So a registration is something which we call it as this is specified for petty food business operators, which includes small scale industries, cottage level industries. So these petty food business operators are manufacturers or anybody who is selling an article of food either by himself, or they may be a retailer, a hawker, or they may be an itinerant vendor. They may hold a temporary stall also, or they may distribute food in any religious place or social gathering. And caterers are not covered under petty food business operators, to be noted. And generally this is demarcated based on the annual turnover. So food business operators having annual turnover of less than 12 lakhs are required to obtain a registration. And the requirements for registration in FSSAI, they have a separate portal which is called as the, you can see here, I've given the ID of the portal. So it is called as FOSCOS. So this FOSCOS portal of FSSAI is a unique portal specifically for registration and licensing. So under registration, the requirements you have to be ready with before applying is you need a photo of whose name the registration is to be obtained, government issued photo ID such as your Aadhaar card or PAN card or voter ID, and a proof of address. To be noted, this registration or license is issued to the manufacturing address, which means the premises. I'm coming on to it in my later slides, Why premises? Because as per this act, a food business operator, be it a small or a large industry, a food business operator it is essential for a FBO to maintain a hygiene premises. The good manufacturing practices which are set down by this act to be adopted. That is why the address of the business activity is very much important. So in case you want to registration, you can go to FOSCO's website and you can just apply for the registration certificate. Before applying, keep all these three things mandatory. So here the process goes like this, like you have to select the appropriate form and you have to, in case of registration, it is form A. So you have to select the form, you have to upload all the proof of address, your photo ID, photo, and the other essential requirements which is spelled out in the form to be filled out, and you can submit. So once you submit, an application reference number will be created. So after that, if required, the registering authority may inspect your premises to see that it is complying to the good manufacturing practices laid down in the act. In case if it is not complying, you may be given some sufficient time for correcting all the non-compliances. So, but generally it is not mandatory for registration. Inspection is not mandatory, but if preferred, they may inspect also. So once everything is cleared, everything is complying as per the regulatory requirement, you will be issued with the registration number. So this is similar in case of license also, but the license is of two types actually. And if you have a turnover of more than 12 lakhs, then you can go for a state license or a central license. So state license, if you see, it is up to 12 lakhs to 20 crores, and if it is more than 20 crores, then you have to go for a central license. So depending on not only on the size and nature of the business, then there are other requirements for central FSSA license. Like in case if you are having units, production units in more than a state, then you have to go for a central license. In case if it is a proprietary food, in case of this garlic comes under proprietary food, so essentially you have to go for a central license. So irrespective of the business volume, there are certain other categories which we need to go for a central license, and this license is issued for a period of 1 year to 5 years. So it is up to the FBO to choose wisely how much of period you want. So every year, if you choose it for 1 year, every year you have to keep on renewing it. So normally 30 days prior to the expiry of the license, you have to follow the renewal process. So this is similar to the registration process, but you have to provide certain extra documents here, like the analysis report, the chemical and the bacteriological report for water, stating it to be as potable water. So this is required in case of registration also, and the list of equipments, machinery used, the premises, the layout of your premises, and some proof of agreement for the premises, like it may be in case if it is your own land, then you can show your land document, or it is a rental agreement, some proof for possession of the premises, that business is going to be carried over in this particular address, in this particular premises. And here it will ask for a kind of business. This is form B, which we have to select for license, and it will ask for a kind of business. Kind of business means what kind of business would you like to do with your product? Say garlic, what we are talking about today. So are you going to procure garlic and just distribute garlic? Okay, one thing. So you are just a distributor. So that is your kind of business, right? And in case, no, I'm procuring garlic and I am going to value add it. I'm going to make a garlic powder, a garlic paste. I'm going for value addition, manufacture something out of that raw material. You are a manufacturer, and I'm going to, after manufacturing, I will be the distributor, retailer, everything. So many roles sometimes we may play at a time. So you can mention all the kind of business what you would like to do in that particular premises. Under kind of business, you can also mention the products to be covered under the premises under this license. Okay, and there is no restriction for that. You can include a number of products and whatever is to be done in this premises. So the license will be granted for that kind of business and for those products which is being mentioned in the application under the premises. So you cannot later on, if you wanted to add, you can just modify things through an application, but you cannot use the license if you had not mentioned the product or the kind of business in your application. So that is very, very important to be noted down. And after everything is complied, and you will be issued with a 14-digit license or a registration number. Okay, and that goes like this. The structure of license is a 14-digit number. So I've just mentioned some dummy numbers here. So for your indication and understanding, the first number denotes a registration or a license, and the following 2 digit is the state code where the manufacturing address is being mentioned, and the following 2 digit is the year of enrollment, in which year you are enrolling, and the next three will be the enrolling master's identity, and the last 6 digit is the FBO's unique permit number. But that doesn't mean you have to use only the last 6 digit. It should go as alphanumeric. FSSL in case license na, it should be FSSL. In case registration, it should be FSSR, followed by the complete 14-digit which is being given to you. This is an essential packaging and labeling requirement. So on your food label, you should mention the FSSAI license or number in full and as alphanumeric along with the FSSAI logo. So you should mention it like this. And coming to the regulations, so what are all the mandatory regulations which the FBO should be aware of? So whatever I have been just telling you, narrating you just in my previous slides are all mentioned in the licensing and registration of food business. This is all open portal informations. You can just go to the FSSAI website and under regulations, to have more clarity or more information, you can log into, you can just open this licensing and registration of food business and have more informations. And coming to the food product and standards, this is a very, very important regulation which an FPO should know. So this specifies what are all the commodities which can be produced or under different categories. So garlic comes under fruits and vegetables, but still we don't have value added garlic product as such as on today in the regulation. So whatever is not present in the regulation is considered under a proprietary foods. There is a separate regulation under proprietary foods. So similar commodities can be considered for the quality and the safety standards. So this regulation encompasses all the quality and the safety standards required for a particular product. And coming to the contaminant, toxins and residues, so what should be your pesticide residues limits, what should be your mycotoxin limits, what should be your heavy metal requirements in commodities. So this is all, we are all speaking about the finished product. Okay, so food product standards will give you a mention on the quality standards, and contaminants, toxins, residues will give you the minimum residual limits for the various contaminant, toxins and residues. Then we have the packaging regulation, which will give you a guideline on what type of packaging material to be used for different commodities. Then we have the labeling and display regulation. So I'm coming in my later slides to what are all the labeling requirements. And next you have prohibition and restriction on sales. Then whatever is not covered in the food product standard, we have health supplements, nutraceutical, functional foods. So all this comes under this regulation. Then we have organic foods, we have alcoholic beverages, we have fortification. There are different regulations. I've just mentioned a few important regulations. You can visit this website of FSSAI to have a more further insight on the different regulations. And this is how this the link for FOSCOS for registering and license. So this is how the portal will be. And you can see here, in case if you are a new applicant, you can just apply here by clicking on this tab, apply for new registration or license. If you click on this tab, there will be further guidances on how to proceed. Now what they have told us, in case if you're changing the premises, you need not reapply again. You can use the same modification of license or registration. So using this tab, you can modify by mentioning the change of address. You can modify a lot of things using this. You can add, you can modify later on after obtaining. So this is for renewal actually. So you can see here under which category your product needs to, you don't know like under which category you need to fit. You can just type your product here and it will give you like under which food category it is coming, and how to apply, what are all the required mandatory, whatever I've shown you in my previous slides, what are all the requirements. So everything is quite self-explanatory. You can explore this site if anybody is applying for a new registration or license. So as I told you, like this is a license or a registration is given to the general hygienic and sanitary practices, what we call them as good manufacturing practices, GMP we tell. So this is being, your premises will be inspected mainly for adopting to this good manufacturing practices. If you adopt the good manufacturing practices, invariably the product which you are manufacturing in that premises will be complying with the quality and the safety standards. So the mention of the general requirements to be adopted by any food business operator. So this general GMP will vary depending upon the type of business. So for milk, there will be certain additional requirements. For meat, there will be additional requirements. So likewise for street vending, there will be certain other. So here what I have mentioned is a general requirement to be met out by all food business vendors, invariable of whatever commodity they are going to handle. So first thing, the choice of your premises. So that premises should be located from a pollution free area, and that premises should be located in a sanitary place which is free from filthy surroundings, which means nowadays we are seeing, so we are seeing waste being dumped everywhere. So you cannot have your premises amidst that waste location, or it cannot be in a very busy traffic area where there will be a lot of pollutions. So such things should be taken into mind while choosing the manufacturing premises. You have to maintain a hygienic, clean environment, and there should be adequate space. It should not be very cramped. So there should be adequate space for the machinery, adequate space for moving, and there should be proper segregation of raw materials, proper segregation of stored finished commodities, and storage of chemicals used for disinfection, sanitation, storage of raw material. So likewise, there should be segregation, and overall a clean and hygienic environment should be maintained. And adequate lighting and ventilation facility should be there, and the floors should be appropriately set such that proper drainage will be there. Whenever mostly the equipments erected cannot be moved sometimes at higher capacity machineries, you cannot just take it out and clean it. Okay, you have to clean it in place. CIP should be adopted. So that time while cleaning the equipments in place, there should be proper drainage of the water. There should not be any stagnation anywhere. So the flooring should be appropriately set such that adequate drainage facility, proper draining is there. And the ceilings or the walls, the plastering or the painting of the walls, the ceiling should be taken care. There should not be some inferior paints and all, normally we will should not be used, because there should not be any flaking or any peeling out, which will fall into the product during manufacture. It may contaminate the product. Okay, so you have to see that good quality of paints are being used, and the premises should be kept insect free. So insect free means sometimes we will use some sprays to kill the mosquitoes, flies, or any pest. So you should not use sprays because they may settle on the commodity, on the food product. So you can fit appropriate nets, screens. We may use some flash, like you have some insect flash traps, and electrical things are being nowadays coming, so such type of things can be used, but don't use any sprays or any coils, not to be used. And the water which is used in manufacturing should be stated as potable drinking in nature, that is called as potable water. So it should be examined in an accredited laboratory such as our niftam Tanjavur food testing laboratory, which is accredited for testing of water. So in an accredited laboratory, get your water used in manufacturing, that for its chemical requirements and bacteriological examination. So have try to have separate water for manufacturing and separate water for segregation of water, like storage facilities, what I'm talking about. Water source may be the same, but for manufacturing, storage, and for other cleaning, washing purpose, you can have a separate tank being maintained. So, and there should be continuous supply of this potable water in the premise during the manufacturing process. And the equipments and the machineries should be designed in such a way like it is easy to handle, it is easy to clean and all. And it should be made of food grade stainless steel, and there should not be any metallic contamination. In case if you compromise on the make of the machinery, sometimes what happens, rusting may occur and metallic contamination may occur in the commodity, which may render your product to be unsafe and pull you out of the business. So that is very, very important. And secondly, all the equipment should also be dried appropriately when not in use. It should be dried appropriately so that there is no any further mold formation or any cross contamination or any other infestation. And as I told you, it should be placed with a certain distance away from the wall so that people can move around the equipment for easy washing and other maintenance purpose. As I told you, effective drainage is very, very important, and waste disposal is another important factor to be taken care of. And coming to the workers' nature, the cleanliness of the workers, we call them as good hygiene practices, GHP. Of course, the pandemic has taught us a lot on this hand washing and using of mask, hair nets, and appropriate aprons, so that the workers should not be a reason for contaminating the product. You should see that their nails are trimmed. They don't eat, chew, or smoke at the manufacturing area. In case the workers are suffering from any cough or any cold or any, in case if they are ill, they are sick, they may not be permitted to come in contact with the food. We call them as a worker illness policy can be in place. No jewelry policy can be in place. They should not wear anything like a watch or a finger ring, or you can like bangles or anything. Even sometimes a lot of ropes which are being tied. So all this will cause contamination of the commodity. And as I told you, like other unhealthy, unhygienic habits should be prohibited in the premises while handling food, especially. And everything should be segregated and stored appropriately. The vehicles which are using to transport the food which is produced in our premises to the retail end should also be kept clean and should be well maintained, so that we produce a good safe food. But if the transportation is very careless, so what happens, the food may become or may be rendered as unsafe. You are doing something very open, and it is sometimes the dust which is settling on the commodity may also be some reasons to contaminate the safeness, to question the safeness of the food. Likewise, in case if you have to maintain appropriate temperature uh, while transporting, then your every vehicle should be maintaining the temperature accordingly. So as I told you, like anything away which is non-food item should be completely segregated and kept away, stored away from the food, and it should be labeled appropriately. This area is for sanitizing agent, so this area is for stored food product, this area is for storage of raw materials, like that it should be properly labeled. So if you can see, as I told you, this garlic is not mentioned in the main commodity of the regulation. So it is considered, you can refer the proprietary food. So in case if it is asking for the food category, the category number, in terms of number, you have to fill it in your form. So this comes under 12, food category 12, under salt, spices, soup, sauces, salads. And under 12, the subcategory is 12.2, which is herbs, spices, seasoning, and condiments. So under this subcategory, the product is your garlic. So this is 12.2.1. Okay, and you can find the descriptions under 2.9.26. So this is you need to know these numbers because it is essential for filling the form for registration and licensing. This is called as the food category number. So since it is a proprietary food, okay, so you for food labeling, you can test for the nutritional content of your finished commodity, and there are no microbiological standards established. But since it's a proprietary food, you have to test your commodity for the safety of the bacteriological presence. So here you have two things. One is process hygiene and safety indicators. So in case if your commodity fails for any of these process hygiene, which means you are not complying to the good manufacturing practices. Okay. In case if your product should be absent for all these food safety category. Okay. So in case if any of these food pathogen is present, then it is unsafe. You will not, your product will be immediately recalled and it will be immediately destroyed. So this is very, very essential. So please take care of this. So while testing product, while you are testing, you have to test it apart from your nutritional labeling, which is a mandatory requirement for your labeling purpose. Not only that, you have to test it for the process hygiene and safety requirements also. So coming to the labeling requirements, this is a very, very mandatory requirement for the finished product. So first thing you have, like common things, as you all know, name of the food product, list of ingredients in the hierarchical ratio, the major ingredient to be mentioned first, and an ingredient less than 5% need not be mentioned on the label. Nutritional labeling, which means your moisture, fat, protein, carbohydrate, energy level, ash content, and in case if there are any health or nutritional claims to be adequately supported by documentation, and in case any allergen is being added, like nuts, wheat, gluten, you have your soy. So likewise, if any allergen is in the commodity, you should mention on the label that what that allergen is promptly, and a veg and the non-veg symbol to be mentioned. And in case we are adding extra minerals or extra fortificants into the commodity, then you can call it as a fortified food, and this F plus in the front of label packaging is very, very important along with this phrase. And in case if it is organic, then you have to print this logo as Javik Bharat and this logo to state it is an organic food. Again, organic certification is different from whatever this FSSAI certification I mentioned. So appropriately, you have to obtain organic certification if you take the claim of organic foods. Next, in case if we add some permitted additives, so you have to mention the E number of the additive or the name of the additive and the levels in which they are being added. A warning declaration, in if at all, say for our commodity it may not be essential. Say in case of pan masala, in case of infant milk formulations, we should say mother's milk is best for the. So likewise, some warning or some declaration statements. This is not applicable for all commodities, but for certain commodities it is applicable. As I told you, the FSSAI symbol along the FSSAI logo along with your manufacturing address, license should be mentioned, and the net quantity, batch number, then the date of manufacturing, best before or expiry, and in case if you're importing it from any other country, then country of origin should be mentioned, and how to use the commodity, how to store the commodity. These are certain information to the consumer. And in case if you are using any radiation in processing, in preservation, then you have to stamp it on the label. So these are a certain essential mandatory requirements to be mentioned on the label. And you can visit our website and use our testing services. Our food testing laboratory is accredited by NABL for chemical, biological and mechanical testing. Mechanical testing in the aspect of food packaging material, whatever we are using, is also being tested for its different strength properties. And we have our nutritional labeling for the commodity, so you can get your value added product, your final end product tested. You can get your water quality analysis also we do. So not only we are NABL accredited, we are also an FSSAI referral laboratory and a national reference laboratory, and we are also empaneled by BIS for water testing. So these charges are also available in our website under food testing. And in case if there is any requirement for training purpose, some students may be participating, or some industry people may be there. So in case if you require a training on analysis, on establishing a small testing laboratory, so such type of training consultancy also we do provide. And there's an important thing called as FOSTAC. A FOSTAC is nothing but a training and certification portal, or a segment of FSSAI. So it's a mandatory requirement that at least one of your employee or the manufacturer should be trained in under FOSTAC. So FOSTAC training is nothing but whatever the GMP I have mentioned will be more elaborated in the training on how to maintain such thing, how to establish such things. So it's a mandatory requirement when you go for the license or a registration. And not everybody can provide this training. Only empaneled training partners under FSSA can provide. And NIFTUM Tanjavur is one of the FOSTAC empaneled training partner. So you can write to us in case if you require the FOSTAC training also. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for joining. Next, we'll be moving on to an interesting technical talk on garlic business insights, experience sharing. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Murtuza Badami, Director, Murtuza Foods Private Limited, Gujarat, for sharing their experience. Hello, sir. Welcome you to this webinar.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to, it's definitely an honor for me speaking in this national webinar. And I would like to definitely extend my sincere gratitude to NIFTM and the organizers, to bring me up in this event. So my name is Murtuza Badami. I represent Murtuza Foods. We are into processing dehydrated onion and garlic since more than 30 years. Today, because of my travel, I would be very quick and short, but yeah, definitely I would like to draw your attention in all the key things into our industry. So we will be focusing on the value addition of garlic. So basically, let's have an understanding on value addition of garlic. So value addition garlic means, the raw garlic has to be transformed into a product where we can have a longer shelf life, improved nutritional benefits for the industry. So we'll try to focus on that topics, because garlic is a product with a lot of benefits. It can be used in kitchens, medicines, health and beauty by transforming into various forms. So when we come into the examples of some of the key products where we can value add the garlic, which basically I have been told to bring up with. So I'm trying to bring you some products where we can value add the garlic from the raw garlic. Because until now, we have always seen that the garlic is sold in the raw form, but because of the increasing market demands, consumer trend, the demand of value addition has been increasing. So when we come to value addition, dehydrated garlic is one of the key product, which is very common, and the demands are quite growing. So dehydrated garlic is processing fresh garlic by dehydrating, like drying it, and we can make it in various forms like slices, chopped, granules, powder. And this is one of the most common product used in all the industries. Dried garlic is used in all different snacks, sauces, seasonings, and even ready-to-eat applications. So when we see that there's any chips in the snacks, it has garlic as an ingredient. When we go for the restaurant for any pizzas, burgers, they use dried garlic into the recipes. So dried garlic is used in all different formats in kitchens, food services, as well as, households. The demand of garlic has been increasing in India. India is becoming one of a key player now. Earlier it was only China, but since last few years we have seen the demand of garlic has been uh, diverted to India because of the growing quality controls technology. So as of now, just to give you a number, like India is already exporting around 40,000 metric tons, depending on the demand, supplies, and seasonality. And India itself also consumes the same. Coming to the next product, it's garlic paste. We can also make the paste of garlic, so that's very convenient, and it's used for all different households, food services, and industrial kitchens. So basically, there are different ways to value add it. You can even have small sachets for small use for nuclear families, and also in the jars for the family kitchens. And also, Horeca has different 2 kg, 5 kg packs, even drums for the bigger industries because the applications are wide. Now we come to another product, which is garlic cloves in vinegar. So this is also one form to preserve the garlic for the longer shelf life, but it also has its own uses in food services and other industrial products. Similarly, you can also have the fried garlic. So fried garlic is also one of the growing market. So fried garlic is used as toppings in many dishes, and it's also used in kitchens for making it paste, for making it into using it into various recipes. So even after that, we also have garlic oil. So garlic oil also is used for culinary uses, for adding better aroma, enhancing the flavor, but also it has benefits for uses in pharmaceuticals, health and beauty industry in various cosmetics. And fermented garlic, which is black garlic, which is also very rich in antioxidant. So that's also it's a new demand, and this is also a new emerging product which we can look into. So when we see the market trend, or let's say, the value addition, all the new generation, the ready to eat food, lifestyle getting busy, new flavors, people want to explore. So garlic is coming into all different applications, like all different segments, and there is a big potential of value addition where we can, whether it is a food industry, pharma industry, health industry, or nutro industry. So we just come to few challenges. Like the main challenges we have for the micro industry is like access to technology, where, as of now, government is also helping with a lot of good financial schemes, a lot of webinars. So there is a lot of knowledge which you can gain, and a lot of exhibitions where you can gain access to new technology, where even for this market exhibitions, government also helps you for getting financial benefits for branding, participating in events, exhibitions where you can also explore international markets, study the consumer trends, and value add the product. And definitely, once we do the value addition, there is always, good margin, which will make the business more sustainable, as well as it makes a lot of new employment generation into manufacturing, into quality, into logistics. So, it helps the whole ecosystem. And export being also a very good potential where you can also have some premium. So export is also a very good market. We as a company also, we are very much into sustainable initiative and taking steps. So with this, if we also take it together, with the processing, we get a lot of waste. Like let's say when we do process onion, garlic, we have a lot of skins. So this can be used as fertilizers. It can be used, again, to give to the farmers and the value addition chains. Now, just, because to wrap up, because the time is short, if there's anything, I can also be open to, because I see a lot of things in the chat box, so I shall be happy to, assist with any queries. And I thank you again for giving me this opportunity today. And I'm sure that with all the big speeches and all the good information sharing, I'm sure it will be beneficial to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
So we'll move on to the next technical talk. So the next session will be on the packaging solution for garlic-based products. For this session, we have with us Dr. S. Anandakumar, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Food Packaging and System Development, NIFTM, Thanjavur. Sir obtained his doctoral degree in Food and Agricultural Process Engineering from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, Coimbatore. And Sir is a certified packaging engineer from IIT Chennai. Prior to joining to NIFTM Thanjavur, Sir served as an assistant professor in the Department of Marine Biotechnology, College of Marine Science and Technology, Northeast Africa. Sir has 15 years of experience in teaching and research, and also specialized in designing food processing equipment and development of sustainable food packaging materials. Sir has developed many processing equipment technologies like continuous type countercurrent format dryer, mobile processing unit, vegetable rotary washer, moringa leaf separator, biodegradable packaging materials from coconut wood, and many more. We welcome you to this webinar, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Nandini and the team. I am audible. Shall I share my presentation?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please share your presentation.
So, very good afternoon, one and all. This session get knowledge on these different kinds of product which can be developed from garlic. As you know, this garlic, it has many health benefits apart from our regular consumption practices in Ayurvedic and medicinal purpose. Also, it is highly used. Particularly, you can see controlling the blood pressure, controlling the stress releasing method. It is also used. So you can see there are a lot of products related with the garlic in our market. So either it can be a fresh garlic, or it can be in the powder form, or it can be in the, even sometimes you can get some garlic oil also, you can get it in the market. So in different forms we are using it. So when we use garlic as it is as a fresh commodity, it has different kinds of packaging solution, different kinds of shelf. Secondary processing, tertiary processing, or ultra processing. So in such a case, automatically the safety and extension of the shelf life is very, very important. In such a case, this packaging methods and the technology which will support you, particularly for the budding entrepreneurs and as well as the people working in this area. So this session will give you what are the current packaging systems or materials are used in the packing of garlic products. So when we say general introduction, for example, just I want to tell you, almost around 16 million tons of garlics we are producing, and in 7 million tons we are exporting, and we are getting this garlic product. And you can see in our country there are different varieties of. They used to come to us, and they want to export this. So in such a case, there are some and that what we can say this allicin content in that garlic. So in such a case, you want to maintain that pungency, or you want to maintain that essential oil which is present in that garlic. So in such a case, you should adopt a particular packaging materials and methods. So that will help you to retain that flavor, retain that aroma and the essential oil content in that garlic product, and that has more value to your company. So in such a case, there are different kinds of post-harvest losses which will be taking place in that garlic product. For example, one is that improper storage. So when we say improper storage, the fresh garlic, if you see, tell me, Nandini.
Sir, actually slides are not moving. Yeah, it's moving now.
Okay. So post-harvest losses, when we say that improper storage, for example, that is garlic, it has to be stored in the cool and dry place. For example, if the temperature is very to 20 degrees centigrade, recommended temperature for the garlic storage will be 15 to 20 degrees centigrade. The relative humidity, if you see, it is 40 to 60% relative humidity. So if you store in these conditions, it can be stored for longer period. Otherwise, if you see, 0 to -1 degree centigrade. Okay, for long time storage, if you keep that garlic at 0 to -1 degree, it can be stored. Below that, if you store, what will happen? That will cause us that chilling injury. So that is one thing. And another thing, a mold growth. For example, if the humidity levels are higher and you store this garlic at elevated relative humidity, for example, 80%, 85% relative humidity, sometimes that mold growth will be there that will cause us that spoilage. Discolorations, for example, due to the temperature, elevated temperature, due to that light interventions, okay, long time it is exposure to the light. So automatically what will happen, that garlic will lose the moisture and it will become yellowish color. So that also will cause us low value in the market. Softness, okay, so that softness, we can say that physiological changes due to higher respiration rate. Normally this garlic and onion will have low respiring commodity. It can be stored longer in the normal atmospheric conditions. But somewhere that storage temperatures or relative humidity is varying, then what it will support triggering that physiological changes, and because of that more respiration rate, that product will become softened, and because of the decay will occur. And the strong odor, okay, that bad odors which will be created, means that is also will indicate that spoiled garlic. And also that is squashing, okay, that is the garlic will become more softness, and sometimes the juiciness will comes out, and these are all the indications for that is spoilage of that garlic. And these are all the things which will comes under that post-harvest losses, and this type of commodity will have lesser value in the market. So in such a case, proper packaging and storage condition is very, very important for fresh garlic and garlic products. So when we say that physiological changes in this garlic, there are, you can say this freezing injuries will be the one issue, or sometimes they'll say chilling injury. Here we can keep the garlic product in dry conditions, as well as in the, what we can say, in the low temperature. For example, if you say that a chilling injury, when it is stored at a lower temperature, otherwise when it is stored at elevated relative humidity, then these issues will come. Particularly lesser than -1 degree centigrade, the chilling injuries will come. And similarly, that waxy breakdown. That waxy breakdown means that that garlic will have the outer surfaces, that waxy materials, and these materials, when it is exported to the elevated temperature, that wax will start melting. And once it is started melting, so normally it is a hydrophobic material. Once the wax is removed, it is becoming hydrophilic material. So that time what will happen, when it absorbs that moisture, that will attract that fungal growth, and as well as that mold growth will come. So that waxy breakdown will be the another issues. Apart from that, you can see that blue mold rot, and that is also when it is exposure to the more sunlight, and this type of that bluish colors. Okay, so that also will be coming due to what we can say higher respiration rate. So this blue mold rot also will be coming. Another thing we can see, that sprouting of that garlic. For example, if it is stored at elevated relative humidity, you can see this sprouting things, and also that insect infestation, rodent mites, and this also will be affecting that quality of the what we can say that garlic when it is in stored condition. So in general, we can say there is a eccentric factors and internal factors that should be properly controlled and monitored to maintain the quality of the product, the garlic, during that storage period. And here you can see that the factors mainly which will affect that garlic during storage. One, we can say that the temperature, relative humidity, and the gas combustion of the storage. So these things which will be called eccentric factors. Okay, so where we are keeping that garlic, either it can be a finished product or it can be a fresh garlic. So these eccentric factors, it should be in a controlled manner. Similarly, apart from these three things, one more eccentric factor will be the selection of the packaging material. This selection of the packaging material. So here, what kind of polymers you are selecting? So what is the technical strength of that packaging material? Will be the barrier properties relevant with the moisture, gas, as well as the light. So those things also which will be considered. Apart from this, that intrinsic factor, what will be the moisture content of that product, okay, and where it will be cultivated, what is the nutrition profile of this garlic. So all these intrinsic factor also which will be having a important role relevant with the selection of packaging as well as with the storage period. So here when we come to that packaging, for examples, once the product is coming out from the industry, so when we will call that shelf life of the product. So when we say the shelf life, once it is coming out the industry until it reaches that consumer or the product will be consumed by the consumers. So this period, the gap which will be called shelf life of the commodity. So this shelf life of the commodity, it can be estimated by some experimental method. For example, you can use some ASLT, you can go through some experimental techniques or modeling methods to evaluate what will be the shelf life of the commodity. So we will say until it reaches the consumers in a packed conditions, if it is properly maintained that qualities, will have the safety as well as maintaining the quality. Both the things, if the packaging, if the technology or the selection of the material does, so that will be having more shelf life value. So here this packaging material or the technology what we are using, it will be differ with different kinds of product, even if you take that garlic based product. So here the major packaging methods will be primary, secondary and tertiary packaging. So this primary packaging material, either it can be a glass bottle, metal container, laminated pouches or paper based material, whatever it may be, it has a direct contact with the your finished product. And the secondary packaging material, it can be a plastic crates or it can be a wooden crates or corrugated boxes. It is mainly used for handling and transportation purpose. Another thing, you can have this tertiary packaging material. You will have very big containers and mainly for the transportation purpose. And this type of containers will have very good strength and stability with respect to environmental factors. And when we come to that importance of packaging, for examples, apart from we can say that 4 functions of that packaging: protection, communications, containment, and convenience. Nowadays, you can see the packaging material will monitor the quality of the product. That we can say that smart packaging. Otherwise, we can say that packaging material itself will modify the environmental gas composition, or it will modify the environmental relative humidity content. So this type of things which will be called active packaging. So the packaging is having a vital role, particularly in the marketing, branding of your product. Apart from that, considering the safety and the storing of the product, so it has a wider role in the sales and promotions. So coming to the selection criteria. So whenever you select that packaging material, the first thing is according to your product. So that should have very good physical strength, as well as it should have very good mechanical strength, as well as that is related with gases, related with the moisture and light. And also nowadays you can see in the market, the packaging material will have antimicrobial coating inside. So in sometimes when you go for selling that peeled garlic, so this type of product easily it can be affected by the microorganism. So sometimes that coating also, for example, we can say edible coating, it can be directly give it on the product, or it can be give it on the inside that packaging material. So this type of active packaging systems also used for improving the shelf life of the product. And the second thing you can see the cost of the packaging materials. Okay, so the cost of the packaging material, we can say normally when we compare with the product, so 8 to 10% of that product cost, it can be used as a packaging cost, which include selection of the packaging material, which include what is the energy consumed when we use particular packaging technology. Either it can be a impulse sealing, or it can be a form field sealing machine, or it can be a vacuum packing method. So what is the operating cost you are using it? So both which will be included, operating cost and packaging material. So normally it will be 8 to 10% we can allow it in the manufacturing side. And apart from that, what is the packaging material you are selecting? That should be a machinability. So that should support your machine operations, and also that should support increasing the capacity of your production. And another thing, it should have very good printing ability, and this print should not be migrated from the packaging material to the product. So there are many issues, health issues are coming in nowadays, particularly migration of the inks from the packaging material to the product, migration of the plastics from the packaging material to the product. So in such a case, whenever you select that particular packaging material, whenever you select particular printing methods, so that Indian standard has to be followed and it should be adopted in the industry so that the safety points will be considered. And another you go for increasing the barrier properties. For example, now you can see some paper-based materials are used with the liners of the plastics. Otherwise, you can see laminated pouches are also used in the packaging of this type of finished products. So, in our packaging systems, we have two categories. One is when we pack the fresh garlic, okay, the primary processed garlic. So it will be packed in a bulk packaging system. Otherwise, if you see that garlic will be converted into tertiary or ultra processed form, like ready to eat, ready to cook form. So in such a case, it will be packed in a consumer package starting from 5 grams or 50 gram, 100 gram to 1 kg, 5 kg packets also available. So in such a case, one thing you can see that a bulk packaging system. So that fresh garlics are packed in a gunny bags, otherwise it can be packed in a PP woven bags. For example, 25 kg or 10 kg bags, it can be stored. And if you go for these gunny bags and PP woven bags, and this also will vary related with the strength of the packaging materials, because this gunny bag will have more strength. And sometimes you can see the cost of the packaging material is very high when we compare to PP woven bags. And apart from that, you can see it can easily absorb that moisture and it can be easily transferred to the food items also. So to overcome that, nowadays that less weight PP woven bags are used in the packing of that fresh garlic. And even sometimes it is a woven bag, or sometimes you can use that liner bags for packing this type of garlic. And the only thing is that respiration, because these garlics will have the respiration, so it should have minimum amount of oxygen for the respiration purpose. Otherwise, that will also will cause us suffer patients, and because of that, as I told you, that bluish fungal growth also which will comes. So these things will be used in the bulk packaging. And another thing you can see in the market, that net packaging is also which is used, and also it is varying the capacity from 10 kg, 25 kg, 50 kg capacity also will be there. And normally this garlics, when it is stored in the net bags, so that will have avoid that moisture condensation or moisture accumulation inside that packaging system. And because of that proper aerations or ventilations, so that can be stayed longer period. But only the thing is, where you are storing these type of net bags, that area you should maintain that relative humidity 40 to 60, because lower the 40%, what will happen, that will lose the moisture from the product, so you will get the less weight during that storage period. Otherwise, if it is stored at elevated relative humidity, what will happen, that will absorb the moisture, then that sprouting will be there. So in a controlled condition, if you store these materials, so that can be stored for longer period. You can see there are bulk filling machines are also available. So you can fix that level of that packaging or capacity. Either you want to pack 5 kg or 10 kg or 1 kg bag. So for selling purpose in the retail shops also. So these type of net bags are there with cling wire method. So you can tie that bags and you can sell this market. And apart from that, we have another packaging system. It is corrugated fiber board boxes. Okay, CFB boxes are there. So there also we have different fruits. For example, single fruit, double fruit, or single wall, double wall corrugated fiber board boxes. But for agriculture commodity, for garlic product, we are using single walled corrugated fiber board boxes. And wherever you store, or whenever you pack these garlics in corrugated boxes, you can see it can be packed in a net bags, for example 1 kg or 2 kg bag, and it is put it in the what we can say corrugated fiber board boxes. And these boxes also will have the ventilations, okay, will have that macro holes, through that air passages will be there, so that you can avoid moisture accumulations or condensation inside the package. Otherwise, you can see this secondary, otherwise we can say that peeled garlics, it is also readily available in the market, particularly for the what we can say canteen serving purpose, or in something like a marriage functions. So this type of bulk packed 5 kg, 10 kg peeled garlic also it is available in the market. So here the thing is, once you remove that the peel from the garlic, so here what will happen that easily it will be exposed to the environmental condition. So there will be a chances to get spoilage in a shorter period when compared to unpeeled garlic. So this is the technology, vacuum packaging technology. So here we will use that polymer film. For example, that nylon polyamide based material. Otherwise, you can use that LDP based packaging materials. Okay, so this type of flexible packaging material, you can pack this garlic and you can keep this vacuum packaging machineries to create the vacuum inside that pouches. And also when we do that hermetic sealing, so what will happen, we can completely remove that air from the packet. And when we see that hermetic sealing, so through the sealing area also there will not be any movement of that moisture or gases, so that it can be stay longer period. For example, once it is vacuumized, so this type of product, it should be stored in the refrigerated condition, so that you can extend the shelf life of the product for 3 weeks or 4 weeks period, so that whenever the demand is there, you can sell this product. And this type of products also, it's highly demand in the market in the urbanization area. So you can start working on selling this type of product. So you can have this garlic peeler machine also readily available. Abrasive type garlic peeler machines are there, or rubber rolls devices also attached for removing that peel without having more mechanical damages. And another thing, you can see this garlic powder. So this also having more demand in the market. So for making a ready to soup mix powders or ready to cook products, so these garlic powders are used. And these garlic powders having a very less moisture content, for example, lesser than 6.5% moisture content. So this type of product, it is hydrophilic in nature. So due to that low moisture content, it will readily absorb that moisture from the environment. So in such a case, these type of products, when we pack, either it can be packed in that bag in box method. So when we say that paper box method, so in aluminum foil, it will be packed, and these pouches which will be put it in the cardboard boxes. So that will be called a bag in box method. Otherwise, we can use laminated pouches. So in laminated pouches, 2-3 layers will be there. So one layer will have more moisture barrier, one layer will have avoiding that light intrusion, and another one will have more gas barrier. So when we use this type of laminated pouches, so that you can retain the color value of that garlic powder, you can retain the free flowing characteristics of the garlic powder. Otherwise, you can have these PET bottles, okay, rigid containers you can use. Otherwise, that glass bottles are used. Only the thing is that cost of the packaging material, and apart from that, that the empty containers of the glass materials will have more cost, and weight will be also higher. But it is inert material that will not have any chemical interactions with that powdered material. And this type of products also, it can stay longer in the normal atmospheric conditions also. For example, 6 months to 1 year without losing that flavors and other things. So when we want to pack this garlic powder in a continuous packing machines, so you can use this type of machines. One is called that vertical form fill sealing machine, and by using that auger filling techniques, you can use continuous filling of that garlic powder into the pouches. Okay, so these machines will have different capacity per minute, 20 pouches to 50 pouches we can pack it. Otherwise, we can have what we can say varying the capacity, for example 50 gram, 100 gram, 250 gram. So like that we can have different capacity of filling into the pouches, and we can use that metallized pouches for this type of powdered material, that it can stay longer life. Otherwise we can have this bottle filling machines. Okay, so in a PET bottles or a glass bottles, it can be filled. So empty bottles which will be traveled in the conveyors, and it will be continuously filled in the feeding sections. And we have the different kinds of closures. For example, roll on flare closures we have, otherwise lug type closures we have. By using these techniques, we can close the bottles, and this type of bottles will have airtight sealing, that is called impulse sealer. So by using that impulse sealer techniques as well as that closures, rigid container closures, this type of product can stay longer. And another product you can see in the market that is called garlic flakes. Okay, so this garlic flakes also will have some, because some of the peoples in the medicinal ground they will eat this garlic for to control this gastric problem or that stress releasing measure. Otherwise, it can be used as a controlling that blood pressure or cholesterol. So that chewies are what we can say. Some of the chewy materials are also coming, garlic based materials. So in such a case, when we want to pack this type of dried flakes material, that time you can use similar that vertical form fill sealing machines. Either it can be a cup filling methods you can use, otherwise you can use that vibratory feeder mechanism on weight basis, so that known weight of that product which will be weighed and it will be packed by using that form fill sealing machines. Similarly, you can see that the garlic flake dehydration processing method. So these are all the machineries which will be used for making that dehydrated garlic flakes. And under this PMFME scheme, we can set up because the within that 35 lakhs, for example, this machinery will come around 15 to 20 lakhs only. For example, when you want to set this type of flaking unit. So same unit, you can use it for making of that onion, otherwise you want to make some dried vegetables. The same setups, it can be used for drying and packing purpose. So under this PMFME scheme, you can make this type of you can say desiccated or dehydrated vegetables or dehydrated garlic products that can be fitted. So this is the continuous process. So maybe in the processing line, it has been covered. You want to pack this type of the flakes, okay, dehydrated flakes, that time you can use these cup filling methods. Otherwise, we can use these band sealers. Okay, so you can get the standard pouches from the market readily, and you can fill the products in the required quantity in the pouches. Then that band sealer, and this type of pouches also it is available, Ziploc pouches. So once it is opened again, you can use this convenience package Ziploc packaging systems, and it can be stored in the refrigerator condition. For example, once you open these pouches, particularly in the laminated pouches, then it is stored in the refrigerated condition, so that that will not absorb that moisture, and this dried product can stay for longer period according to the consumer demands. Another thing you can see this type of garlic paste. Okay, so this is also having very good demand in the market, and this garlic paste you can pack it in the pouches. Either it can be a stand-up pouches or it can be in the retard pouches. So one thing you can use some of the preservatives. For example, you can use sodium chloride, you can use ascorbic acid as a preservative. For example, class 1, class 2 preservatives, you can use it, and directly you can pack this product paste materials in the what we can say the spout packing method, or directly you can go through that paste filling machines. Directly you can pack it in the laminated pouches. Apart from that, there are other technology which will be used. It is called retard packaging. So what is the paste you are making out? It can be sterilized by using that retard packaging systems. Then it can be stored in the normal atmosphere. So when we go for this retard packaging systems, which will be retard at the elevated temperature, for example, 85 degrees centigrade or 90 degrees centigrade. So then it can be stored in the normal atmosphere, because when we go for thermal treatment, so the temperature will kill the microbes which is present in the garlic paste, and this type of product it can be stored in the normal atmospheric conditions. And these are all the machineries you can see for the paste filling. Either it can be a batch method or continuous method. You can see that piston filling method or single pneumatic filling machineries or vertical form fill sealing machines. All these things are used in the packaging area. Apart from that, you have some containers, rigid containers, to close the closures. Before that, you can use any of that sealing technology for it can be a laminated pouches, or it can be a impulse sealers, or you can see that induction sealers. So these are all the sealers which will make hermetic sealing. So to avoid that gas intrusions or moisture intrusion into the dried product or the processed food item, so that it can stay for longer period. Another thing, important product you can see in the market, it is a garlic pickles. Okay, so there is a lot of demand for this type of products also. And here you can see it is also available in a bigger size. For example, half kg, 1 kg container size also available. Otherwise, it is available in 1 rupee or 2 rupees. So small sachet also will be there. So when we go for a bigger packing, okay, it can be packed in a PET containers, polyethylene terephthalate PET container, or it can be packed in a glass containers. So there are bottle filling machines are available. So there you can use that piston filling method or metering devices. You can use it to fill this paste garlic into the bottles. After that, you can use that induction sealings as well as that closures. You can use it. Apart from that, if it is a fine, then you can use this type of that form fill sealing machines. Okay, so here you can see that two ends, for example, three ends. So both the sides are closed. Other two sides are completely laminated. So either three side sealing or two side sealings you can use it. Otherwise, you can use that spout packing method. So this type of spout packing machines also available. So the spouts, empty spouts are you can get it in the market pouches, and it can be fit into the machines. So there it can be filled with the gases, nitrogen gases to open the pouches. Then the product will be filled. Then it will be tightly sealed. So this type of is also more convenient to the consumers. Another product you can see that garlic spreads. Okay, so even that Amul they introduced along with the butter. So they added that garlic and herbs. So that makes, because nowadays that peanut based butters are available. Okay, pumpkin seed butters are available. Okay, these are all the things will have more sweet taste. Nowadays the people considering that health point of view, nowadays that garlic spice based butters also available in the market. Okay, will give that pungent taste and also will have more health benefits. Normally, this type of spreads, it can be packed in a glass containers or PET containers. If you want to make a small packet, so for example, we want to say some 25 grams or 50 grams, a small packet butter, then you can use that blister packaging technology. So it can be packed by using that blister packaging technology, and like our Amul butter, so you can have a small quantity, 20 gram or 25 gram in a blister packaging methods, and that can be used for ready to consume purposes. Another product you can see in the market that is called garlic oil. Okay, so here that extracted oil by using that solvent extraction method, supercritical extraction method, oil will have more pungence. Even 1 ml of that oil will be equal to 200 gram of that garlic. So more concentrated form. So this oil also high value in the market, particularly in the therapeutic purpose or in the medicinal purpose also. So this type of oils, when we want to, because it is in a concentrated form, to pack this type of product, it can be packed in a tin metal containers, and these metal containers also inside will have epoxy coating, so that will not have readily react with this type of concentrated oil. Otherwise, it can be packed with rigid container, high density polyethylene, PET bottles or glass bottles. So these are all the common packaging materials it is used, and also it is available with a different capacity. For example, 10 to 20 grams to 5 kg, 10 kg containers also available in the market. And another thing, whenever we want to sell any kinds of product, either it can be in the peeled garlic, or it can be in a powder form, it can be in a paste, or it can be in a oil. Okay, so this, whenever we sell these food items in the market, so we have to follow these FSSAI standards for selection of the packaging material as well as the labeling. So when we say this labeling techniques, whenever you sell this product, so these 13 parameters, it has to be printed in the label, starting from name of the product, is MRP, that is vegetarian mark, FSSAI license number, customer care details, how to use this product. So all these things, it has to be printed, and anything if it is misleading or misguiding, and that will be considered as a offense. So whenever you sell this product in the market, particularly the food items, you just to follow these FSSAI guidelines. Even you can download these FSSAI standards for packaging and labeling of food items. So they are given starting from 2.1 to 2.11. Okay, starting from packaging materials to the irradiated food items standards. So that is given by our FSSAI regulations, and that should be followed. The startups or the company, those who are starting business related with the garlic product, So that has to be followed. So coming to the conclusions, so how much importance you are giving for making the product. So similarly, when you sell the product in the market, considering the consumer point of view, okay, considering the branding point of view, the packaging will play a major role in it. So selection of the packaging materials, okay, what kind of packaging material, what kind of product, okay, so what is the importance of that particular technology or particular packaging material suited for some particular product. So everything you must know before selecting some material technology into the processing line. Another thing, whenever you throw the packaging material after usage, that should not have any environmental pollution. So nowadays, many people, they are talking about sustainable packaging material. They are talking about smart packaging, intelligent packaging. So these are all the things are coming in the area. So the industry people, so these are all the things also you have to take it consideration before launching your product in the market. Otherwise, without you are having any uniqueness with other companies, you can't sustain in the market. So in such a case, it is very, very important considering that the cost of the packaging material, environmental issue, usage of the packaging material, all these things has to be included. And considering our NIFTM campus, we have very good testing facilities for testing of the packaging material. And also we did a lot of consultancy for the budding entrepreneurs as well as that stakeholders, giving a packaging solution for particular product. And also you have any issues, you are stuck with some point and you need some technical guidance. So that time also you can approach us. We can solve your issues by taking that sponsored research project method also. So in such a case, you can do wonder in this area, particularly in the garlic product, and there are a lot of demands are there. Even you can see that in India, if you see that ready to cook, ready to eat product market, the potential, it was $360 billion. And now in 2024, it is expecting almost $700 billion. So twofold it is. So in such a case, instead of selling as a secondary processed food item, if you focused on ultra processed food items by using this garlic product, you have a lot of potential to do wonder in this area. So with this, I thank our director sir and the organizing team for giving this opportunity to share some of the area on packaging of this garlic and garlic product. Thank you very much. So you can contact us with this mail ID if there is any any thing you need technically. So you can directly contact our director IAPT.edu.in or HOD Department of Food Packaging and System Development at IAPT.edu.in. So thank you very much. Hello, Nandini.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, actually, two questions from the participants, sir.
Okay.
Whether nitrogen filling packs are used for peeled garlic. Can we use it?
Yeah, peeled garlic, if it is roasted, for example, peeled garlic, you no need of nitrogen filling. Peeled garlic, you can go for vacuum packaging method. So nowadays you can get some roasted garlic in the market. Okay, so whenever you are having roasting, so that time you can go for nitrogen filling, because this nitrogen filling is recommended for the snacks food item where the product will have more oil content. For example, after roasting, what will happen? This oil which is present in the garlic will be easily exposed to the atmosphere. So that makes that oxidative reaction. In such a case, you can go for roasted garlic, you can go for nitrogen filling. If it is a peeled garlic, you can go for vacuum packaging method. So that will have very good shelf life.
Sir, one last question. Which oil can be used for solvent? Which solvent can be used for garlic oil extraction?
Normally, the solvent extraction method we are using it. When we go for supercritical fluid extraction, there they are using high concentrated carbon dioxide. So that will be used. For example, normal solvents. Okay, so that will be, for example, we can use that hexane will be there. Okay, so that can be used as a solvent for extracting that oil. So there may be that polar, okay, polar region, so that you can use it, that polar based solvents. So that may have interactions and that will have higher extraction yield of this what we can say this allicin, okay, from that garlic.
That's it from the participant side, sir. Thank you so much for such an informative
So
session.
others, you can post your question in that, I given you that mail ID, considering the time constraints, no issues. So we are ready to give technical guidance or any issues you have related with the processing and packaging, you can send a mail request, we'll reply. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the next technical talk, which is on banking and financial assistance, detailed project report preparation to micro enterprises. For this, I would like to invite Ms. Tonisha Dikshit, Senior Project Consultant, EY Gujarat. Ma'am holds a master's degree in business entrepreneurship with specialization in agribusiness management and finance. Having research experience of around 5 years in entrepreneurship domain as a part of various state and central government projects, ma'am has been conducting entrepreneurship development training program for more than 7 years. Ma'am has completed course in curriculum design and entrepreneurship teaching as US ASBE Teaching and Learning Scholar from United States Association for Small Business and Entrepreneurship in 2019. Ma'am has also served as a team leader in the project management unit of PMFME scheme of Nifton Thanjavur. We welcome you, ma'am, to this webinar. Please proceed with your session.
Thank you so much, Nandini. Good afternoon, everyone. So as the today's topic is on preparation of detailed project report for financial assistance. So you all know, most of you are already having businesses or aspiring to have a new business in agri or food processing sector. And definitely at any point in time, you would have prepared a detailed project report, or in answering to the financial institutions, such kind of details are being required by the promoters. Next slide, please. So we will be covering those aspects in detail today, starting from what are the kind of assistance that does require this kind of support. Then what are the that are to be made, starting with the DPR preparation aspect. Then the DPR is more or less divided into three aspects, that is technical feasibility analysis, marketing feasibility analysis, and financial. So these are the three main components in which you can divide a detailed project report, and we will cover each aspect in detail. Next slide, please. So starting with financial assistance. So these are the three areas, and I'll share ready reckoner in detail with you. Next slide, please. So what is a detailed project report? So a detailed project report is a fundamental document that acts as a blueprint. So basically, when you're going for constructing a new building or you coming up with a plan, then definitely there is a blueprint that has been required by you for understanding that where are you, what is the investment requirement. All these questions are required to be answered before you start into any new enterprise or new service unit or expansion of a current project. So when an entrepreneur comes at this stage, there is a requirement of a document which tries to capture all these activities, and these activities can have are required to be in place prior to beginning of operation at planning stage itself. So because these are the things which are required to tell you like where you are presently, and what is your path, where you are going. So maybe you will have a 5-year projection, 10-year projection, so where you will be going and how you propose to get there. So maybe it is through what kind of business model you are proposing. That basically covers how you propose to get there. It can be through rental model, subscription model. If it is a service, then what kind of delivery or what kind of customers you are trying to cover. If it is a manufacturing unit, then in partnership with any technical person or any technical agency you are thinking to partner. So how you propose to get there? This is the question that these are the three questions that this particular document replies to you. So in addition to, can you take to previous slide? So in addition to gaining the financial assistance from the banks or financial institutes or private equity, so when you are, say, for example, applying for a loan, so it is a capital subsidy loan that you are putting up, or say you want to take interest support, or there may be other financial incentives. So for these particular things, definitely an entrepreneur goes to a bank or a financial institution. So we have nationalized bank, cooperative bank, and then we have private sector lending as well. So the rates and the percentage subvention differs from bank to bank, from unit to unit. So when we are talking about, say for example, before requirement of this particular document, that is detailed project report, when you are arriving at a particular financial institution, so from the institution perspective, we need to understand that they want to look into our project from the perspective of basically key areas. Like if you're coming up with, say, garlic multi-product processing unit, and so the institution would definitely would like to know where this unit will take you in next 5 years or 10 years. What are the kind of profits or margins does this unit actually have? And you as an entrepreneur or your team as a promoters team, are they well equipped to take this venture to next stage or scale this up or make it a good enterprise? So definitely these are all questions that are talking about assessing the risk associated with the business. So risk assessment involves calculation of the strengths of the promoter. So they want to know about you. They want to know how much you know technically about the project. They want to know what are the kind of, so how clear are you in the calculation? That's why projections are asked, so that they know you understand the market, you understand the demand. So all these questions are not to just grill an applicant or not to just reject an applicant, but they are basically, because if you as an entrepreneur are asked to give 10 lakh rupees to someone, you will definitely ask 100 questions to them. So these 100 questions are created in the format of a DPR. We should take this this perspective while going for a financial assistance or applying for a particular application. So when we are coming up with a DPR, why not to create it in a very structured manner? Next slide, please. So that's why we have structured it into these questions, that your document will be replying to these questions. So not only the financial institution, but you as a promoter would also know that these are the things that I need to fetch from multiple places, or these are the things that I am, these are my strengths. Basically, you might be knowing SWOT, so strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. So such kind of an analysis is something which this business plan is taking you to. Next slide, please. So we will start with assumptions. Next slide. So for example, you want to start a unit and you already know that which are the, so because of the intervention of central government and state governments, we know now which are the clusters, which are the hubs, which are agri-produce clusters, or surplus production is there. So on that part, we are very clear, and we can very easily take that advantage and take that information from multiple sources, like central government's website and state government ODOP list. So all these definitely help us to get understanding of the surplus production. So these are, so these states have surplus production, we know that. Now we need to have a look at the demand as well. So for example, we know that Rajasthan consumes a lot of garlic based products. Gujarat also consumes a lot of garlic based products. So as production is also huge and demand is also huge. So when such kind of scenarios are there, so we need to understand which are the markets that first we need to cater to. So there may be case then that in some areas they are consumed in raw form or in semi-cooked form or in highly processed forms. So the demand and supply gap, that is the first thing that you as an entrepreneur should look at. And it can be regional, it can be very local. So say for example, you are based in Rajasthan and you know which are the in which you will get very low cost raw material or good quality and normal cost raw material, appropriate raw material. And you know that these are the markets, urban markets. Say for example, Jaipur and nearby markets. So say for example, those are the markets. Sorry. So those are the markets where you can cater to the metro or urban population. So that then your demand is of highly processed and high quality nutritious foods, and the gap is the processing where you can put up your value addition unit. So this is one aspect which under which the assumptions are being made on the location and the regional selection. Next slide, please. The next phase is calculation of the capacity. So when we are calculating the capacity, now you are looking at the supply. Second thing is how much investment you are planning to put per annum, or it can be 100 kg per day. So what kind of unit are you looking at? So depending on your per day processing capacity, per day value addition capacity, you will be deciding the quantum of investment that is required. So it can be a very micro scale unit, it can be a medium scale unit which can have your conventional belts and the semi-automatic or automatic kind of units. So basically your installed capacity will be something that is the total capacity. Now in the very first year you are not going to use 100% of your capacity. You are going to use say 60%, 55% of your installed capacity in the first or second year. If you say for example, if first year goes into setting up of the plant, building up of the entire ancillary structure, then the second year, from the second year onwards, you can start manufacturing, you can start commercialization and processing. So maybe 55 to 60% of the total installed capacity can be utilized. If you are seeing that based on the demand and supply, you will not be able to utilize more than 30 or 40% of the installed capacity, then at the projection stage I'm talking, then it is suggested that you reduce the installed capacity, because this will be wastage of your capital as well as the unit that you will be putting up, because there is no such existing demand of that quantum to which you are trying to cater by installing such a high capacity plant. So that's why your capacity is not only dependent on your financial capabilities, but also on the supply side and demand side. So how much is demand? So if it is export oriented, you are preparing some products, then those aspects also you need to look at. What kind of frequency is there of the movement of exports, or if it is domestic demand, then what is the projection of the demand as well. So those kind of studies are required to be conducted. Also, then once your maximum capacity installed is finalized, that this is the amount of capacity that I'm going to be operating on, then you need to reanalyze on the raw material availability, its seasonality. So many a times we have seen that entrepreneurs start with only one product, and that is also very seasonal product, and then they have their unit not functioning for majority of the days, and then some kind of cash failure or cash crunch happens. That is because your capital, once you have started your unit, the depreciation starts from the day one itself. So the moment you bought a 30 lakh rupees plant, immediately the depreciation starts, backward calculation starts. So it is very costly affair for an entrepreneur to not look at the utilization of that 30 lakh plant and simply just put it there. So that's why it is very important to first calculate and understand the kind of utilization that the plant will have, and based on that only decide the capacity of it. So that's why entire market study and feasibility study goes into that. So that is why that is required, and this is being asked by the financiers as well, because this is a very critical component of taking the unit for the next 5 to 10 years. Otherwise the unit will close down in 1.5 years only. So these are the areas that we need to work on. And then comes so then is your inventory. So if it is a non-seasonal product, say for example grains, if you have grains parallel to your other products. So then your raw material availability is perennial. Your finished goods also will stay for you with you for a period. So for example, 10 days is your cycle or 5 days is your cycle, business cycle. And then you will be giving credit to your debtors and taking credit from creditors. So those kind of calculations also come into place. So basically these are the assumptions that will help you understand the major cost components of your project. One is the cost of your plant and machinery that will come. So based on the installed capacity, you can directly ask from the quotation and you can get that. And then the raw material pricing. So that also you can just take options from the source and then you can just understand the raw material costs. So overall that we say the broader perspective is very clear that what this project is going to be costing to us. Next slide, please. Then comes the market feasibility, which will act as your homework or the background study. So these are the three market drivers. So what I was talking about was demand. So when we talk about demand, people think that demand is something that you can just search on internet, that what is the total demand of the market, total demand of say Tamil Nadu in fruits and vegetable. No, that is not the way that the total demand is being calculated. You local demand is very different from what is being projected in multiple sources of information. The local demand is very much dependent on the type of demography, basically. What are the type of population do you have there? So rather than starting from directly searching on the total amount of demand, you should first see the demographics, which is very easily available. The demographic information is very easily available. And you first need to look at urban, rural breakup, the population, so for example, the age categories, all these things. Based on that, you yourself estimate that what is the kind of people, what are the kind of people that are going to consume your product. So if your product is, for example, say ready to cook, which is a very famous product of garlic and ginger, that is your pastes and premixes. So this paste, garlic paste or garlic ginger paste or multiple spices are being added into a single powder and then just directly RTC, it's a ready to cook product. So when you are trying to produce such kind of a product, your market is very different. You are not catering to mass market. And it totally depends on the local consumption pattern. So your local consumption pattern may be of, say for example, more people are cooking at home and you don't have nuclear population at your local region, then your product, it's very difficult to understand the demand of your product. However, if you are looking at say for example a population wherein most of the people are of working class and job oriented, and so people have less time, more female participation in job is there, such kind of areas if you look at, so we call them very much influenced by the metro culture or urban culture. And so it will be very evident from the demographic as well as the presence of industries and presence of such kind of companies there. So, and even it will be very easily seen from the markets also. So when you will be visiting the local markets, you will see a lot of ready to cook and ready to eat products in small mom and pop stores and these super stores. So such kind of analysis and such kind of observation is very much required before you start gaining information on the rest of the things. So demand analysis is a bit time consuming, but yes, it is very necessary and it really helps you and it gives you confidence on the planning aspect of your unit. So this is really very important aspect and one should not miss this out or take a shortcut on estimation of demand or directly take from some secondary sources and just deduce it down to the local area. No, that's very wrong method. Secondly, understanding the product. So as we were talking RTE, RTC. So based on now, when you have demand in place, you know who are your customers are. It's very easy then to understand your product, what your product should be, whether it should be semi-processed, whether it should be RTE, RTC or some other kind. what kind of deliveries are required, what kind of product placement is required. So now things will fall into place. Then comes customering. So who are your customers? So their purchasing power. So when you're talking about purchasing power, age group, so you are basically trying to understand that who is the decision maker and what is their purchasing power. Based on that, you will finalize your pricing also. So if health conscious and Generation Z and beyond are your customers, then they might be having more purchasing power and they would look at some good alternatives, health-based alternatives. Then you should have that kind of placement of the product. Your product should look like that, and so packaging will also should have those components in it. The pricing should also be on that aspect. So all these aspects should be on that area. So the purchasing power and age group of the population is very much dependent on, is deciding these kind of aspects. Next slide, please. Then comes your competitors. So the competitors will help you understand. We should very closely study competitors because it helps you reduce your risks and you get to know that what are the key product composition that are being catered to by those competitors in the market, and you should not be taking those things lightly. So these can involve, for example, some of the product failure risk or some of the quality concerning risk. So from the competitor's point of view, you will know that such quality was not working well in market and such quality was so studying closely your competitors help you a lot in reducing your risks. Then comes 4Ps. So these 4Ps are your product that we have talked about. Price. So finalizing the price, it should not be over or underpriced. Your product should be optimally priced. Then optimally priced. Place and promotion. So place of the product, there are two aspects that are being talked about. First place is where you will be selling. So whether it will be online sales, offline, and whether it will be sold on shelves of multi-commerce stores or shops or through e-commerce. And second is the place on the map, mind map of the customer. So where you are placing your product on the consumer mind map. So whether consumer mind map has been divided into multiple aspects. One is value for money. Another one is, say for example, healthy product or nutritious product. Then third one is say for example brand oriented product. So they are not looking at the value for money aspect, or they are just focused on the brand that they follow. So such kind of bifurcation of a consumer's mind is there, where you are going to place your product in the. So based on that placement of product only, you will be pitching your sales pitch, your marketing pitch should be based on that only, what you want to convey to your consumer. And fourth one is promotion. So your promotion will ultimately fall in place based on your first three aspect. What is your product, what is its pricing, and where you want to place. So based on that, your promotion strategy will be there. So whether it is affiliate marketing or whether it is, so it is very much trendy now, the affiliate marketing and influencer marketing, digital marketing. So all these aspects, how you are going to utilize these. Then comes market linkages. So market linkages are again not to be left out. These are the backward and forward linkages that helps you gain advantage over cost of bulk inputs. So when you are looking at, say, bulk procurement of raw material or packing material or some kind of any kind of supplementing material of your this thing. So your backward linkage, say for example, tying up with the FPOs or such kind of farmer groups, which can help you take benefit of similar quality or consistent quality supply. So such kind of linkages are very important. Similarly, forward linkages on institutional sales or bulk supply of your final product, so that your distribution and promotional costs are reduced. So these market linkages are also very important and need to be. So when I'm talking about these aspects also are to be required to be detailed out in your DPR. So these things are also should be mentioned in your DPR, that what are the kind of strategies that you have again for all these scenarios. So it completes your presentation or your pitch to the investor or to the financial institution, that you are very thorough and clear about the product market and you know what you're going to do with it. So that's why this market analysis is a very important aspect. Next slide, please. Next. So now we are going to talk about technical feasibility, which most of the other speakers have already covered and you know it well. So basically, I would like to only cover those aspects which your DPR focuses on. So your DPR basically wants to, should have the listing of, say, for example, what are the equipments or plant and machinery basically you will be coming up with, but in detail. So what is the capacity of it, and that should match with your overall capacity. Then your costing of auxiliary units and supporting. So when you are mentioning your list of equipments, you should be very clear about, while reading the list of equipments, the entire plant layout should be visually visible. So it should represent your entire layout and nothing should be left out. So you cannot leave any. So if you are going to have utility connections, you're going to have silos or storage infrastructure, or say, so all these things are required to be very much captured and addressed to while when you are mentioning the technical aspects of your DPR. So your process, and say for example you are buying out the technology from some research institute or some so then those things also need to be, so that gives an very clear idea about you are dependent for technology on this thing. So you are focused on adoption of newer technology, so that's why your project is very important. It is technology focused, so such kind of impression also this information gives. Then your raw material utilities. So when we are talking about technical aspects, you should also tell about what will be the consumption of raw material in first year, second year, third year, all these things. And then location and layout, as we discussed. Then manpower and production scheduling. So these assumptions when you will be making, so for example, if 100 kg per day kind of unit you have, so what is the kind of manpower you will be required? So these many skilled, these many unskilled, and then you might have a person overviewing that, so an operator, or so such kind of detailing is required. So these assumptions will, when you are clear on market side, when you are clear on technical aspect sides, then your financials are just taking the projections, just putting the formula and just calculating. There you don't have to think of all these things because you have done your homework. You are clear on the technical aspect. You know how much manpower you are going to use when you are producing what, and how much raw material is available to you. So what is the pricing of it, and the technology, how much it is costing, the product cost, all the cost that goes into it, your inventory, how much time your money is blocked into it. All these costs are very much clear to you. And now only these things are to be just given to some person who knows finance, and he will just put this in Excel and calculate it for you. Then no further discussions are required. It is as simple as that. But people think finance is the main aspect of the DPR, but I would say market and technical aspect are the key aspect on which an entrepreneur should work very efficiently and very religiously. Once these assumptions are clear, your finances are nothing but just a number game. So these are the aspects are to be very importantly taken care. Next slide, please. Next. So when we are talking about financial analysis, I'll broadly cover that it will involve your investment cost. So what you are investing for the very first time, and it will be invested only once in your business unless and until you're going for expansion. So These will be your fixed assets. So your plant and machinery, your technical civil works, your buildings, your taking of utilities connections and all this. So these are the one-time costs that will be required to be put up. In most of the financial institutions, they don't consider land cost in the project cost. However, it totally differs from institution to institution, but mostly land is not considered under, the cost of land is not taken into total project cost. Having said that, your investment cost will involve your plant and machinery, so your fixed assets, then working capital. So working capital, I will take in detail also in next slides. Then preliminary and pre-operative expenses. So your preliminary and pre-operative are, so for example, you will be requiring licenses, then pollution control permissions and all these things. So it will require even preparation of TPR. So all these things will be your preliminary before starting of the unit. What are the preliminary expenses? Those also you can add here. So that is also been considered and taken into project costs. Then comes sources of finance. So when you're talking about investment cost, say for example, 30 lakh is your investment cost. So your sources of finance should provide that how those 30 lakh rupees are going to be sourced from. So whether it is going to be your own money, say some proportion might be there that out of 30 lakh, 30% will be my own money, 30% will be taken on loan. Say for example, you're taking loan from PMFME, so that 35% up to 10 lakh rupees, you can take loan from this. So that is there. And then remaining 10 lakh rupees you are sourcing or sourcing from some other source or from friends and family, such kind of detailing. So your 30 lakhs should entirely cover under this sources of finance. So whatever you're telling your project cost is, your source of finance should clearly tell how that project cost is going to be met. Next slide, please. Now, what I was talking about was working capital. So working capital is nothing but what you want to, the amount of investment that has been required every business cycle to keep your business up and running. So it involves inventory cost. So in inventory, you have raw material, you have finished products, and you have some stock of, so for example, if you are making say garlic chutney, so you might have other spices also in your stock. Then you will have some, so all the additives, preservatives, everything that you will be keeping in your inventory, all those things will come in your stock. Plus work in progress. So some products do not have a production cycle of a day, they have a production cycle of more than a day, with those products which have less perishability. So when that happens, then your work in progress also adds up. So your inventory comprises of these three aspects, plus receivables. So receivables, I have written money owed to you by your customers. So basically, you will be putting your products at the shop or distributors, and you will be having some credit period in between. So that amount minus what you owe to your supplier. So payables. So these calculation, when you do, what you will get will be working capital. So generally working capital has been calculated for every year. So say for example, 5-year projection is there, so you will be calculating working capital requirement. And in most of the financial institutions, they ask for 30 to 35% of the total working capital required in first year. For example, your first year requirement is say 3 lakh rupees. So out of that, 30% will be taken into account in your project cost. So this is a general calculation that I'm telling you. But when you're applying to a financial institution, you should first check whether they are considering working capital as part of the project cost. If yes, for the capital subsidy. If yes, then how much percentage of it, and if not percentage, then it might also say working capital for first year, say for example, will be considered in project cost. So such kind of inquiries you should make before finalizing your application in DPR. So this is your working capital. Then next slide, please. Then finally comes your financial projections. So once these calculations are made, so it's simply what you are going. So profit is, you all know what is profit and what is loss. So This has been given to understand there is a ratio that is called break-even point, which most of you might have heard. So this break-even point is something at the stage of the enterprise, which means that at that point, all your revenue that you have earned have fed your investments. So now you are at no profit, no loss stage. You are at break even. After that, all the profits now will be can be taken into next implementations. For example, you can take those as a salary, or you can put it in your expansion, or you can just simply take that profit away. But till that point, it is no profit, no loss, because against your expenses and against your monthly recurring expenses and all those things, your profit was getting utilized. That's why it's no profit, no loss stage. So generally it's 1.5 year, 2 year, or not more than 3 years. Then we say the economic feasibility is not good. We should rework on the scale of the business. If the profit and loss is way too longer. So for example, till 5 years, you're not able to achieve profits. So it's not considered good. So you should first then check, because if there is a product of whose margin is less, then you need to scale up. You need to have larger products. So that's how we calculate the economic feasibility or financial feasibility of it. Then comes depreciation, as I initially talked about. So your equipment start depreciating every year at a certain percentage. And so there's a standard method of calculating it. WDV, you can do it, written down value, and simply depreciation can be calculated. But this has to be very much essentially be put into your DPR. So depreciation calculation, profit and loss estimation, and projection, balance sheet. So balance sheet is nothing but it is telling you about the strength of your business. So what you have in assets against what you have in liabilities. So, and both should match definitely. So your current assets and fixed assets, that will be, you will be telling, so your plant and machinery and current assets, what they are holding, cash, and then against that you will have liabilities. Say you have taken loan, you have taken maybe interest based or not interest based, but all those liabilities which are required to be paid. So against those assets, this has to be taken care. So balance sheet is required to be put up. Then cash flow. So cash flow basically tells the financer that how frequently or how not frequently your business might go into cash crunch or cash failure, because generally the most common factor of failures of products or a venture we have seen is cash flow crunch, because the cash flow is not properly managed, and it's been taken into the investment. So the short term cash or short term revenues or short term cash inputs are being utilized into the long term assets. When that happens, your money is blocked for a longer period, and then again next month you require, say for example, 1 lakh rupees for running your business, but you don't have, because the last month's additional cash or additional this thing you had just put in your long term. So now if you don't have something to input in your business, you're not going to generate revenue out of it. So ultimately you fall into that trap. So this particular calculation is required for that, the cash flow this thing. Then ratios, there are several ratios. So out when we will be calculating these top 4 aspects or components of the financial projections, we will be coming up with a lot of ratios we will have. So debt equity ratios are there, then your IRR, internal rate of returns are there. So all these things will be calculated, but it is not nothing any person having finance background can very easily calculate it for you. It's main important thing which nobody can does, but only you, is the understanding of market and the product, that no person can do it for you. So that is the main aspect that we need to work on. That's all from my side on the DPR aspect. I would quickly tell you about what I do. So I would work at EY LLP, and we work into strategy and transaction services.
I hope till now you might have got some clarity about the detailed project report. So we'll move on to the next technical session, which is on PMFME guidelines, which have to be taken by Dr. R. Sinija madam, but unfortunately madam will be committed with another meeting. So myself, I'll be handling this. So basically this session is about Prime Minister formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises Scheme. You all may be aware of this scheme. So coming to the objective of this scheme is providing increased access in terms of loan by the existing micro food processing entrepreneurs. It also aims in supporting FPOs, SHGs and cooperatives, and also providing professional technical handholding support to the micro enterprises, which will help in formalizing the micro food processing sector. It also focuses on strengthening of the institutions at state and district level in the food processing sector. It also aims at developing increased common services like incubation facility at the district level. It is one of the key components of the scheme. It will be covered briefly in the next upcoming slides. The scheme envisages on formalizing the unorganized micro enterprises, that is FPOs and SHGs, to make investment and upscale their operations, thereby supporting the transition of existing 2 lakh enterprises into formal framework. So the major features of the scheme is based on initially it was based on the ODOP approach. We are providing financial assistance to both ODOP and non-ODOP projects. Total outlay of this scheme will be 10,000 crores for a period of 5 years. Coming to the benefits of the scheme, here funding support can be provided for the upgradation of existing micro units as well as new units in terms of credit linked subsidy, 35% with a maximum ceiling of 10 lakh rupees. So in that, beneficiary contribution should be minimum of 10% of the project cost, with balance being availed as loan from bank. In addition, seed capital is also provided to support the self-help group up to 40,000 rupees. And there is also a state level marketing and branding support around 50% for the 50% of the grant for the government organization. So they can apply for the common grant under this scheme. And there is a support for establishing common incubation center with 100% of funding support for government organization and 50% in case of private institutions. And there is no age limit and educational qualifications required for applying under the scheme. Existing unit as well as new unit, both in ODOP, that is one district, one product, or also non-ODOP products are eligible to apply under the scheme. The enterprise will be eligible for the loan even if bank loan availed in any other central or state government schemes. That is, they can even merge the schemes. If any person is availing loan under any other schemes of central or state government, they can also be eligible to take loan under PMFME scheme. So as I said earlier, beneficiary contribution should be 10%, and there is a seed capital support for the SHG member and marketing and branding support up to 50% of the. So regarding the application process, all existing units or new individual units have to apply through the online portal in the FPI website. For group applications, apply with the DPR to the state nodal agency, which will undergo preliminary scrutiny by the nodal officials. For availing marketing and branding support, it can be channelized through state nodal agencies. They will be putting up the proposal to the ministry and the further approval process will follow. Okay. So next, the capacity building component is another component of the scheme. It will cover mostly the training parts of this. So which involves providing training to all the stakeholders of the scheme in the form of 2 aspects, that is a product specific training and one is entrepreneurship development. In the product specific training, it mainly focuses on the domain knowledge, missionaries involved, packaging aspects, then value addition with respect to micro enterprises, marketing and branding, and many more. And entrepreneurship development focuses on functional aspects of running a business, that is various business opportunities, DPR preparation, how to prepare the DPR. Then the most important factor when you are going for any kind of financial support in terms of loan or subsidies, that is the preparation of DPR. So that training will also be provided under the entrepreneurship development program. And the skills needed for the business management, also it covers the regulations and registration process required for starting an enterprise. Then the majority of the training will be conducted in online mode. Then the beneficiary trainings are conducted in physical mode for better transmission of knowledge So beneficiary trainings were conducted based on two different categories: individual micro food processing enterprises, those who have already applied under the scheme, or category 1 beneficiaries, and category 2 beneficiaries. They are interested in knowing further about the product in which they are operating, but not interested in applying grant or availing any financial assistance under the scheme. So they are the category 2 beneficiaries. So apart from these categories, workers of micro food processing sector who want to know more about the product in which they are manufacturing, and the FPOs, that is farm producer organization, and self-help group members who are engaged in the food processing business are also interested to further improve or formalize their units. They can also able to attend the training. They can also be eligible to attend this beneficiary training, that is category 2. And these are the food subsectors in which master level training is conducted by various national level research institutes, including NIPTEM Tanjavur and NIPTEM Kundu. Based on the whatever domain they are taking care, under the scheme we have 9 domains, as you can see in this screen. So the DRP is the main, they play the main role in this scheme. It's like they will be responsible providing the hand-holding support to the beneficiaries for the preparation of DPR and for online submission of your application and the documents whichever required for submitting your application. So they are trained by master trainers about the scheme and the food domain sectors in detail. Once they are qualified, then they will be eligible to provide the hand-holding support to the beneficiaries. So beneficiaries, they don't need to pay any amount or any payment for the DPR preparation to the DRB, because they will be paid by the ministry. So this is the food-based training modules, whatever developed by NIPTEM Tanjavur. You can see about numerous products on various domains. About 101 products we have developed and uploaded in our website. Even I will show you the web page. This is the PMFME scheme page of NIPTEM Tanjavur. Under the training material ODOP tab, you can see various domains, including fruits and vegetables till minor forest products. So if you click on any of the domain, fruits and vegetables, then you can see lot of products uploaded in it. For example, if you click on guava juice, you'll be having PowerPoint presentation and demonstration video on how the guava juice is processed according to the whatever industrial scale they are following. Here it's processed in the pilot scale, that is small scale limit. Then packaging technology, how what the packaging material is needed for the processed guava juice, and the food safety and FSSAI regulations what should be followed for guava juice, including the preservative limit and also any sweetener you need to use. That is also included in this food safety PPT, and including GMP and GHP practices have to be followed in your industry. Then model DPR. This DPR plays a major role when you are applying for any of the government schemes. So how to prepare the DPR and what all the components have to be covered in the DPR and what all the constraints and how to prepare the DPR. The previous session ma'am also covered about the working capital, what are the things you need to include in that working capital. So all the things will be covered under this model DPR course material. Then this course material is the summarize of all these products, like raw material preparation to whatever the technical process you need to follow in your production. Like for guava juice processing, from raw material processing to till packaging, what are the technical process you need to follow. All the things will be detailed in this course material. So all these things will be available in English as well as in the some of the regional languages. You can also verify this. Then ODOP webinar training materials. Here, whatever webinar we have conducted so far, all these things we have uploaded. And this webinar recorded version will also be uploaded under this tab. Then this is another facility, incubation facility. In under this facility, you will be having the processing lines, like around 76 incubation centers approved till now. In Tamil Nadu, we will be having 4 incubation centers. Here you can select the state and also the district. It will show the district wherever incubation centers are available. For example, Tanjavur, one incubation center is available at Sastra University, including coconut processing unit. Whatever processing unit is available there, it will display in this page. So you can also use this facility. You can take your raw materials and use this facility, and you can package your product. So about this incubation facilities, Normally, it will be having primary, secondary, and tertiary processing line. So it is created for both the ODOP and non-ODOP products. This is the cost norm for establishing or setting up the common incubation center. However, we are not currently accepting any applications for common incubation center. Whatever applications approved so far, you can find those details on what NIFTMT website. I have shown now, right? In that website, you can see all the incubation center details. Okay, the capacity of the center will be 1 to 2 ton per day. And this is some of the equipments which were available in that food testing lab of the incubation center. So these are all the components of the scheme, whatever I have explained. Then these are some of the web links in which you can find all the details about the PMFME scheme. And this is the online application portal of Ministry of Food Processing Industries. So this is the online application portal. The DRP I told, right, district resource person. So he will be applying your submitting your application in this portal only. He will be having the separate login and password, and he will submitting your DPR. Then you can track the application also. And if you have any issues contacting those DRP persons, you can directly contact this district nodal points or even the state nodal agency. All the office's mail ID and the contact number will be available in this list. You can also make use of it. And here in NIFTM Tanjavur also will be having the project management unit. If you have any queries regarding this application process or any technical details or consultancy you need to know about this scheme, you can directly reach out to us. So I'll post the mail ID into the chat box. So you can also send mail, whatever queries you are having, you can send mail directly to us. We will reply to it. So with this, I covered most of the important components of this scheme. If you have any queries also, you can post it in the chat box. So model DPR format, someone has asked about it. So under the training materials tab, you can find the model DPR for all of the products. Kindly go through it. Even I can also post that link in the chat box. Yeah, recording version of this webinar will be uploaded under the training material, webinar training materials tab of NIFTM Tanjavur website. Since it is a free national webinar, there will be no certificate provided for this. So with this, we are closing the webinar. On behalf of NIFTM Tanjavur and PMFME team, I formally extend my sincere thanks to all the speakers of the technical session for sharing their valuable insights on this platform. I also thank all the participants who joined with us today for their support and cooperation. Thank you all for joining with us today. We are closing the webinar. Thank you.